Hey there, I'm John. I collect cards, and in this video, I'm going to give a quick report. With I don't have video or pictures. I didn't do any or take any at the show, but a quick report from the Kalamazoo card show that happened yesterday, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's Sunday, September 18th. I hope I have those numbers right. I think that's the right date, but it is Sunday early evening, and so just a quick report from that show. Traffic was good. From what I can tell, I was there for about an hour. It was a 9 to 4 show, and I was there from about 11 to 12:30. I think it was 50 tables. It's either 30 or 50 tables. It's a pretty standard size room. It's not in a big gym or anything, but it's not a tiny show. It's not a huge show. It's not a tiny show, but it's a show that's been going on for a while, like 2 or 3 times a year. I went to the one in January, and it was packed in January. And today it wasn't, or yesterday, it wasn't nearly as packed. Possibly because, it was college football Saturday, and I think Michigan was playing right at noon maybe, or they were playing during the day anyway. Michigan State, I believe, played last night. So it wasn't quite as busy, but it wasn't light by any means. You can move around comfortably, but it was, still enough hustle and bustle in there to where some dealers I was talking to said it was a pretty good show. So what I did yesterday was acquire or pick up two vintage cards that are both, I'm pretty excited to have in my collection. Neither one's a great condition card, but they're just really cool that I have them. And the first one is a 1971 Topps Thurman Munson. It's an old SGC label graded a 4. It is, I looked it up, it was graded in July of 2014. So a little over 8 years ago it was graded. It's a, for me, for my collection, it's nice. I like it. It's off-center, top-bottom. The corners, for a 4 are pretty decent, actually, from what you'd expect. We can see how low it does get there in terms of the off-center, but the tuxedo of the SGC slab kind of like minimizes it at first glance, which I kind of liked about this. The one thing about this that's a little tricky to me is there's like a wrinkle or something going on, like right over here. I guess it's not bad enough for it to be any less than a 4 in SGC's eyes, but there's something going on over there. I guess it's not a crease, but it's probably a wrinkle of some kind, or maybe a small warp. I'm not sure what, but here's the back. I just love having this card. It's such an iconic card from the decade, and from, really, it's a Topps all-time card. And so I just really love having this. This is, a guy, Thurman, that I do PC him since I've gotten back in the hobby, and I don't have his. I only have, I think, 3 of his playing cards. Actually, I've got mostly pickups of because Topps has him in almost every set with retired players in it. But he's remains popular in the hobby. So anyway, my Thurman Munson now, 1971. Happy to pick this one up, and I picked these up from the same dealer. Another card that I picked up, and I only picked up 2 on the day. Is this 1966 Topps Willie Mays. It's card number 1 in the set. As you can see, it's not in great condition. You can hear my cat possibly in the background. I apologize for that. It's probably going to grade a 2 if I had to guess, and I will send this in for grading because it's number 1. Condition is very. This card has particular value over Mays's other cards from this part of his career because of the number, and so I will get this graded, and there's no creases in it, though. That's the cool part about this, is that there aren't any creases. It's just well loved, off center to left right mostly, a little bit top bottom, but a little more left right. But the corners are pretty fuzzy. There's a little bit of a peel on this one, so I don't think it's going to grade any higher than a 2. Maybe if I'm really lucky, it might grade a 2.5. But I think probably going to be a 2, and I think a 1.5 could actually be a possibility as well, depending on what mood the grader's in that day. But I do like having this one, and I will send this one in possibly on my next submission, which I have not sent in my September submission yet, and I'm actually probably going to wait till the end of the month to do that. So what I paid for these 2 cards was, well, essentially nothing. So I struck up a nice conversation with the dealer for this. It was actually his first time doing a show. Apparently he's a longtime collector, first time dealer, he told me. A nice guy named Mike. I believe his last name was Lang. And he's from St. Joseph, Michigan. He doesn't have a website or anything as far as I know, or an eBay store. I think he said he didn't have one, at least not yet. But it looks like it's something he's sort of pursuing. So, if you were to ever come across that name, very nice guy. We had a really nice conversation and enjoyed picking these up. So he wanted. I ended up getting both of these combined for $85, which might have been a tad more than I probably should have. I probably could have got them for 75 maybe, because of this wrinkle here or whatever is going on here. But 85, was okay, because what I ended up doing was I sold some cards yesterday, and dealers were looking at Bowman's, which was actually nice to see. They were in a, I don't want to say in a buying mood, but they were definitely open to looking to see what I had. And when I sold a stash of about 10, mostly Bowman's from this year and last, for $100. So offset the cost of these two, keeper all-time vintage cards, which, again, condition aside, is not a big deal for me. I just love having these. Where, I was just ready to move the cards that I did, even though some might pick up, gain, and some, it's just, I held them as long as I wanted to and wanted to move them. And I'll tell you really quick what I had and what I kind of gave up. And hold on one second, please. My cat is starting to get a little over the top. Sorry about that, guys. I had a pretty good run of videos there where he wasn't bothering me, but I guess I'm recording this at the wrong time of day. But anyway, so the cards, real quick, I kind of parted with. One was an Ellie De La Cruz. It was a paper numbered to 199. It was like a purple kind of parallel. That one, it wasn't like super tough to give it up, because in the end, I got $100 for these cards. I gave up 2 J-Rods. One was a Julio Rodriguez. One was a 2022 Don Russ. The De La Cruz is from 21 Bowman, of course, first Bowman. The Rodriguez's were a first edition base from Bowman this year, 2022, and then also a 2022 Don Russ rated prospect pink fireworks, which, that's, the sales of those are creeping up a little bit, raw. But, that one was probably the toughest one to move of all of the ones I did give them. And I sold them all to one person, actually. I had 3 people looking at my cards, which was nice. It was like, that was a pleasant surprise that they were interested. All kind of like, they seemed to be like veteran dealers. And actually, the person who bought them was probably, I think he was with his son, and they were looking at him. And so his son was actually sort of checking the Bowman, or the eBay listings and comps and stuff a little bit more, while the dealer himself was kind of like adding things up before he made an offer. But a couple of other ones I gave up. I gave up some Jack Sawinski's. I had a Bowman, first Bowman yellow mini diamonds 75. He's got potentially a high ceiling, because he's not selling for a whole lot right now. But if he does kind of stick with the Pirates, and he's hit like 16 homers this year, if he picks it up on average, in terms of batting average next year, and kind of sticks, those cards will shoot up a little bit. So that was a bit of a risk to hold. But I'm more of a long-term vintage guy, so it's like, it was kind of fun to have those Bowmans. But yeah, there was a couple of Sapphire Sawinski's as well, like 3 I put in there because of I was in a break with him, so I actually held on to 3 other ones of his, but I had 6 in all. A couple of other ones, the names I can't remember. One was Zach Veen, actually, and the other I think was Marco Luciano, both from Bowman's Best. They were numbered. 199 I think was Veen to the Aqua Lava, and Luciano I think was 250, numbered to 250 purple. So in all, I sold them all again for $100. I sort of was trying to do some math and comps today with it. I probably 110, maybe. I probably could have gotten another $10 from the fair value, what you expect him to pay me, because he has to turn them around himself. Probably could have got 10 more bucks out of him, or 15 maybe. But at the same time, it saves me time from shipping and just listing them and all of that stuff, if I was going to eventually part with them. And eventually I probably would have. And I was actually thinking of sending in the pink fireworks of J-Rod to grade. So it's like, all that sort of hemming and hawing whether to do it, it's actually kind of a relief to move them. And in the end, I got 2 very nice cards for essentially nothing yesterday. So I was very happy about that. So that's it. Just a quick report from the Kalamazoo card show yesterday. Again, traffic was good. Dealers were interested in looking at cards that if a person walking around wanted to sell. And I met a nice met a nice dealer yesterday and picked up 2 nice ones. So there you have it. Hope you ever had a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.